Finally, let's talk about creating tables. Here we would like to sum the KP hours for each cell block. We'd also like to see that done by month. We will use data tables to do this. Because I want to show you multiple methods of doing this, I'm going to make a copy of this and paste it just over here. Let's first do it using just the list over here. Notice this is not a data table as it is set up. I can, however, say I want to put January and over here the north block. This will be our criteria. And I'm going to use the dsum to gather the information for our table. It first asks for the database. I could have named this or created a table, but we'll just highlight this whole area here. Goes down quite a ways. And I'm going to make that absolute as I put it in there. Next, I put a comma. It's looking for the field that we will use. We are wanting to look at hours of KP, so I'll click on D5, and that will be the field used. And then the criteria is F5 through G6. And making those absolute so that we can copy it down, we see that we should have 93 for January North. Let's see, January North is 58 plus 35, that's 93. So it looks like we're set to begin. Note that for a two-way table, that is where we're changing the values both across and down, I put the equation that I want to look for in the upper left-hand corner of that table. Now we apply January North, South, East, and each of the values in the following way. With the formula in the upper left-hand square, let's create a data table here by highlighting everything except the bottom row. The bottom row I have other equations on that I want to use, and I don't want to override it, so I don't include that in what I've selected. We'll go up to Data, Forecast What If Analysis, Data Table. Now here I want to have the input for this formula by replacing that input, it's referring to G6, with North, South, and East. So as I go along the row, I'm changing what is in G6. As I go down the column, I'll be changing what is in F6. I'll say OK, and all the information fills in. You notice the subtotals that I had at the bottom. Let's do a check figure on that as well. I'm going to use the sum if, and the range I'm going to look at is actually anything in column C, and say if I find that item in I6, that in any one of those cells, then give me what is in column D and sum it up. And I get the same amount, 1825, and the other check figures agree also. Next, we want to do the same thing, but let's turn it into a table first and use that. So clicking on here, I'll say Insert, Table. Yes, my table has headers. I'm going to change my table's name to DBase. And now I'm ready to do my formula. Equals dsum. And the database is called DBase. Notice as I bring that up, it shows up in here. But I need to say that it needs to include everything in that data table. So I use an open square brackets, click All, and close. Now you'll notice the whole table was selected. Then I want to use hours of KP, D6, and it inserted the way that you would say that, referring to the database itself. And finally, the criteria. Now I've got the same results. Let's turn it into a data table here in the what if analysis. Data, what if analysis, data table. Input as I go along the rows is north. As I go along the columns or down the columns would be the month. And we have the same results now using a data table format for our formula. Notice the formulas are very different, but it works just as well either way. You now have some very powerful tools at your disposal that can be used in many different ways. I would encourage you to play with them and learn them well. We have some homework problems that will help you do this. Thank you.